Oh, hi, my name is Amber and today we will be talking about the Monsterathon tag. So I mentioned this in my TBR. I'm participating in the Monsterathon this month, and one of the challenges was to do the Monsterathon tag, which is basically just to go through all of the prompts and recommend a book for each of those prompts. The first one is a Black or Indigenous author. For this one, I am going to recommend You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson because I need to recommend this book to everybody always. This is such a happy, just sugary sweetness of a book. It's just so good and so sweet and fun and easy to get through, and it just makes you feel happy after you've read it. So I highly recommend checking this out. The next one is a friend picture book or just a recommended book. For this one, I'm going to go with Shiver. This is a horror manga, so if you want something that's really extra creepy and spooky, this is definitely something you should pick up, or pretty much anything by this author. Go check out this author if you want some good horror manga in your life. Next is a book that is either a mystery or has mystery elements, and for that one I am choosing Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I will always recommend this series because it is just so much fun. The main two characters are just wonderful, and the best part of this, and even if you don't like the story of each book, you will love them, and that is plenty enough reason to read this series. Rude. Next is a comfort read. For this one I'm going to recommend Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. Pretty much any contemporary by Ashley Poston in this series just are comfort reads for me. They're very sweet and fluffy and wonderful, and there's so much character development. Specifically in this one, it's so good. It just made me feel like I was wrapped up in a warm hug after I finished reading this book, and that is just the definition of a comfort read for me. It's just so happy and fluffy and wonderful, and I highly recommend this story because the friendships in it are wonderful, the characters are fantastic, the relationship is adorable, family dynamics are amazing. Go read this series. Go read this series. Next was to recommend a book that has mutants or aliens in it, and for that one I am going to go with The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. This is a story about a world where aliens have invaded Earth. Humans were too violent, so aliens decided upon themselves that it was better to take away any of the music, movies, books away from humans to help try and keep them calm and take away any of that violence. Main character owns a secret library, and a alien sort of finds out about the library, and they kind of start working together as a team, and a relationship buds from that, and it is beautiful and wonderful, and it's absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend this book. Next is a book that is either indie published or older than 5+ years. For this one I am going to go with a book that I feel like deserves so much more love, and that is Angel Fall by Susan E. The series is so good. So good, and I read it so many years ago, and I still love it to this day, and I still think about this series to this day. It is an angel-based book, dystopian type world. For something that's so dark and gritty and dystopian, I laughed so much while reading the series because these characters are just so wonderful. Next is to recommend a retelling, and for that one I am going to choose The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Curry. This is a Aladdin retelling. Wonderful story. Genie and the Aladdin character end up having a relationship. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. I highly recommend this. I was not expecting to love this as much as I did, but it's now one of my favorites, and it's definitely one of my favorite retellings. Next is to recommend a book with disability rep. For this one I'm going to go with The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. This book is just so wonderful, and I know at this point everybody knows what this book is about, so go read this book. I highly recommend it. I still haven't picked up the sequel that follows one of the other characters yet because I'm just so nervous to read it. A lot of people didn't like that second one, so I haven't picked it up yet, but this one I still really enjoyed, and I love this book. The next is to recommend a book with a good cover, and that I am going to choose Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall. This camera will never do justice to this book because this book is gorgeous, and every book in this series has covers that are this beautiful. I know. A wonderful series as well that I enjoyed every book in this series that I read. Beautiful outside, beautiful inside. Highly recommend this book. Next was to recommend a book that is underhyped, and that is The Stars Never Rise by Rachel Vincent. A world where demons have taken over the earth, and it's super dark and twisted and weird, and it gets very strange in some places, but it's wonderful. It is a duology, so they're very quick and easy to get through, and I always will recommend this series because if you're wanting something weird and dark but still that good YA goodness, this is what you should be reading. Next is to recommend a book with LGBT plus rep in it, and that I'm going to be choosing Bloom. This is a graphic novel of a boy who works in his family's bakery, and then they hire someone new, builds a relationship from there. It is wonderful, it is adorable, it is very sweet, very easy to read, and I just personally love the art style and the colors. I love it. It's fantastic. It's really, really good, so I highly recommend that as well. And then finally is to recommend a book that is mythology based. I don't fully know if this counts, but I don't read very many mythology based books, so I don't have too many I could recommend because it kept coming up a couple of times with mythology as the background, and that is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I've only read the first book in the series, so I can't recommend the series as a whole yet, but I really enjoyed this first book. Those are my recommendations for all of the prompts and the Monsterathon tag. If you guys are participating in Monsterathon, please let me know down below because I want to talk to everybody about their monster themed books that they're reading this month. But with that said, I will see you guys next time.